the tube, Justin Hack, coming back with you with a brand new video here. This week we're going to be checking out a different type of video. We're going to be talking about playing in the styling or style of Chet Atkins. If you're not really familiar with this style, stick around for the video because you're about to learn a lot. Check it out. So the really cool thing about Chet Atkins is his ability to put 4 beats per the bar by this alternating bass pattern. He's like one of the pioneers that really started to develop this idea, and guys like Tommy Emmanuel, Jerry Reed, for example, Jerry Reed and Chet Atkins, they played together. Really into this alternate bass type pattern. Really cool kind of stuff. I want to zoom in on the fretboard, show you the right hand technique to try to get that down, and then we'll apply it to a blues context. So let's zoom in, break it on down. Alright guys, if this is a brand new concept or idea to you, I highly recommend you stick through the entire video and watch the entire video. It'll really help you and it'll open doors in your playing. With my personal playing, I'm always thinking about how I can, really expand my knowledge of different genres of music and being able to play multiple different genres and not being set in one specific type of music. I think it's really good, and I think that's what separates a lot of amateur players to pro level players, is to be able to be comfortable in playing in multiple different styles. So Chet Atkins' style is a really cool style. I just really played a blues in the key of C. And I was really just using the C7 shape. So I have my C7, my 1 chord, my F7, my 4 chord, just moving it up to the 8th fret here, and then moving up to the 10th fret, my 5 chord, my G7. So we need to really get comfortable with the idea of alternating our thumb and doing this kind of pattern. So check this out. The pattern that I'm going to be doing, and I'm not playing anything in my left hand right now, I just want to get comfortable with this, and I'll zoom in on my right hand in a moment here after we break down the chords. But the pattern that I'm doing is 5-4-6-4, 5-4-6-4, 5-4-6-4, 5-4-6-4, and I'm really laying my hand on the farthest part of the bridge as I possibly can to get that pizzicato or muted sound. Because right now, if I didn't have that mute going on, it would sound like this. And that would sound cool, I suppose, but the Chet Atkins style is really getting that mute. Boom, 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 boom. So get used to that idea of adjusting where you need to put your hand to kind of get those mutes. And again, I'm going with just my thumb, 5th string, 4th string, 6th string, 4th string. So I'm kind of inside, outside, 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 inside, outside, outside, outside. Now grab your C7 chord shape down here. Oops. So grab your just regular old basic C7 chord, and we're going to get used to applying that same idea, but now with the C7. And notice how in my left hand I have to compensate to get that low 6th string, and I have to move my 3rd finger up to the 5th fret, or excuse me, the 3rd fret of the low E string. So get used to this idea. So my left hand is just holding the C7 chord. 5-4-6-4, 5-4-6-4. And that pattern is going to also be the same when we move up to the other chord positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So just get used to that. So you're going to apply that in terms of a blues. So let's walk through the whole progression. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could notice in the intro I also played G7 here and F7 here. It's just another way to play it. The only difference is now we're going to be rooted on the 6th string, so we won't have to actually move like our finger. We just keep it right in position and do that same exact type of fingering. So once you get comfortable with this idea of that alternating bass line, you can apply this to any single key if you wanted to play it in A. But like I said, I played it in C, so let's stick with C. So just really getting comfortable with this idea. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, so here's a look at the right hand. So notice how I'm kind of keeping my pinky planted on the, the body of the guitar here. That's going to help me to be able to get that muting, I'm just really kind of planting that there. A lot of guys will do this when they play this style of music. It's not a necessary thing, but I just find it easier to do. So again, I have my C7 in my left hand. And again, I'm kind of using this part of my hand to cup those strings. Kind of get that mute. Start adding in the other fingers, so just really get comfortable with that idea. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So just that's the quarter note. And you're gonna use that entire fingering for the entire blues. Now, in the right hand, the first move that I'm doing is I'm doing a pinch on the, so with my bass note being on the 5th string, I'm going to do a pinch on the B string. So my first move will be this. Now, immediately after that, I'm going to come down on the 4th string. And then after the 4th string, I'm immediately going to use my 1st finger to grab the G string. So in context. So we're still keeping that 5 4 6 4 5 4 6 4. Now after I do that G string, I'm going to come over and grab the 6th string. Do that bass note there. And then after the 6th string, I'm coming down to the 4th string. So remember, that pattern of 5 4 6 4 is going to stay consistent throughout the entire piece. This is really, really common fingerstyle progression for Chet Atkins style. Jerry Reed, Tommy Emmanuel, cats like that. And really, I'm only using my thumb, 1st, and 2nd finger. Sometimes I use my 3rd, but rarely I use it in this case. I'm really only just thinking thumb, 1st, and 2nd. And really what I'm doing is my 3rd finger and pinky are kind of just planted on the body of the guitar, keeping that planted for me. So pinch, bass note, melody note by itself, and then bass, bass. So I'm thinking pinch on 5 and 2, 4, 3rd string, 6th string, and then 4th string. So this is really basic. You can get more complex with it as the sooner you get more comfortable with this, then you can start to really spice it up. And you can add in different kinds of complex rhythms, but just for right now, get really comfortable with that idea. So pluck, pinch, bass. That pattern is going to stay the same for the chords. So let's say we're on C. Then F. C. G. F. C. Then G again. Turnaround chord. Okay, now with that right hand picking in mind, let's apply this to an entire blues progression. So we're going to do this again in the key of C, and it's going to sound something like this. And we'll do it real nice and slow. So sometimes how I like to count it in is I like to give myself a bar of the bass line first and then come in with the chord. That kind of sounds cool. So I'm giving myself the first 4 count. 1 2 3 4 chord. It's a nice way to do it. F chord, C chord. Now, that same exact pattern with the bass note is going to be applicable when you have like a G7 rooted on the 3rd string, or on the 3rd fret, excuse me. Again, the most thing that's important about this technique is to really just keeping the consistency in the right hand and keeping that alternating bass line. That's the most important. can kind of, you know, do little embellishments and whatever you may want to do. That half-step slide is a cool technique too, so you might want to do something like that. Or in between your phrases. Because we have the flatted 7th right here on the 3rd fret of the G string. It might be cool to slide up into that. Break up your phrases a little bit. And here you can just use that same exact pattern. Instead of jumping all the way up here, you can come up here, grab the chords here this way. Really cool concept. Now, this can be applied to other forms of chords too, besides just your standard 7th chords. Let's say you want to do this on like a 13th chord. Now, the only difference is in this case is now we're just going to be alternating between 6 and 5. We're not going to have the 4 in between that. Or 6 and 4, excuse me, not the 5. So remember, you're always just thinking about keeping a consistent bass line. Your thumb is really just going to play your timekeeper. So you're always thinking about thumb, index, and 2nd finger. Pinky and 3rd finger are kind of just doing that plant. So let's apply this to the entire blues progression. And I'll just play it through and I won't talk, with the same picking pattern that I taught earlier. So I'm going to give myself a count of 4 first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright guys, that is the video. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you liked it. Let me know what kind of styles you want to hear in other future videos. Drop those down below. I love all kinds of styles of music and I'd love to do future videos like this. So let me know what other videos you may be interested in or other stylings of different players that you might want to see. I'll see you in the next video and take care.